Alrighty, traders, this is Blake Morrow, and you are listening to the Daily Roundup webinar. I hope everybody's having a great trading session. It's Monday. It's a little slow. Volumes are down. Paul Franco keeps pointing out the volumes are really down, depending on, the markets you're looking at. But you just look at the S&P, and we're just grinding up towards our highs. Nothing really changing there. Everything's just, wedging. Right, so it just looks like we're knocking our head up against resistance, and just a matter of time before we hit all-time highs. That would be my assumption, and I'm assuming everybody in the market's probably feeling the exact same way. Currencies are pretty quiet. We have the euro that's backing off a little bit from the 78% retracement. One of the things about the euro, which I shorted a little earlier at 76, and the reason why I did, if you were in the chat room and not really paying attention. So we had a divergent relative strength there, and the euro may come off, but no one's going to be aggressively selling it right now because equities continue to push higher. So as long as equities are pushing higher, the euro's going to probably eventually lift up towards the resistance. But we have some really big resistance here around the 119 and change level. Cable's not really moving a whole lot. As I said earlier, it looks like we're consolidating in a triangle. Aussie's having a nice day. We're rallying towards the highs. I'm actually, I shouldn't say I'm surprised at how strong the Aussie is today, because I mean it just it's rallying with risk assets. I mean, as the stock market goes up, the Aussie's just getting a lift. Kiwi finally finding some support ahead of the 65-cent level. The dollar Canadian's backed down towards the 132 support. Remember, this is a I guess it'd be a multi-year trend line that's coming in around the 132 level. So, if you're short because you're like, oh, stocks are going up, so I'm buying the Aussie, I'm buying the Kiwi, I'm buying the Canadian. If you're long Canadian dollars or short the dollar Canadian or short Euro Canadian, something like that, just be careful that we're nearing that very, very big support. One of the interesting things is the emerging market currencies. You look at like the dollar Mexican peso, we're getting a bounce off of this trend line. Okay, but it's not just the dollar Mex. You look at, like, here's the Turkish lira, nonstop. I mean, this is, at what point is Turkey's currency going to really get garner the attention of the markets? Whether it's the euro or whether it's other emerging market currencies, who knows? The ruble is a little weaker. The South African rand, a little weaker today. So it makes sense that the dollar Mexican peso would be pretty well bid as well. Let's talk about, well, we know equities are just near their highs. The gold and silver market, gold's, well, that's silver, but gold's come up to what I think is going to be pretty key support here. Remember, we're looking at 2000 and 1900 as being the range, and we're nearing the upper end of the range. Now, we could obviously overshoot a little bit here. I wouldn't be surprised to see gold hit 210 before pulling back a little bit. But I do think that both gold and silver are going to be in some sort of consolidation. Whether we, sorry, didn't mean to do that to you guys. I'm so sorry. I hate it when, it's funny. I'll sit here and not yawn for an hour or two, and then I start speaking, and I guess it's the lack of oxygen because I'm talking. I'm talking. I'm not breathing. I'm just talking. It forces me a yawn, and does that, I guess, anyway. But what I wanted to point out is, I think gold's going to stop around the 2010 level. But if this is a symmetrical triangle, we could actually make it all the way up to 2050 again. It's possible, especially if stocks continue to rally, and you might see gold get a move on higher. Silver's bounced back to what I think is going to be some resistance up here too. So those precious metals are coming into some resistance. If you happen to be long and trading them, I think you need to be aware of where we're at. One last thing I'll point out to you guys is the dollar yen. The dollar yen has slumped to 106. Now, this is pretty important support. You know, if using ForexAnalytix, there's an update from Greg Horvat on Elliott waves. Just I think you should look at that. But even on the basic technical analysis, if you look at the dollar yen as we slump towards that 38% retracement, we knew that we're going to find some support down here. The question is, you know, will it hold? Because if the dollar yen breaks through this 38% retracement, shoot, we could head down to 105.50, right? You know, this is the previous this is the previous channel, so we're just testing that, you know, channel breakout point. But anyway, it's pretty quiet today, but I don't expect that to continue, especially if stocks surge to new highs. Because if stocks surge to new highs, that should usher in some dollar weakness. So if you happen to be trying to play the dollar for a bounce, just keep that in mind if stocks rally to new highs. And guys and gals, if you're listening to this after the fact, you're not listening to it live right now, that means you're probably not a ForexAnalytix subscriber. So therefore, try it out. It's only $1 for 10 days. Where's the pricing? $1 for 10 days. And then when you try it out, make sure you download the mobile app. And to get ForexAnalytix potentially for free, read the Forex sponsored part of our site. So, and, you know, tell you the different ways you can, you know, get that. So Brock, thank you. Good to see you in the chat room on Friday. And guys and gals, have a great one. I hope volatility picks up a little bit, but VIX is at its lows of the day. So with VIX lower, I guess that it's the same old song and dance, right? Stocks are going to be higher. Dollar's probably going to be a little weaker, yada, yada, yada. All right, guys, have a great one. I'll see you tomorrow morning on the Face webinar or in the chat rooms. All right.